When did aliens first get here, and what's going on?
They can also duplicate themselves as humans, that you can actually be talking to somebody and not know that they're a reptilian.
No, I get it. I get it. So the game plan is to breed with humans.
That's
Which,
one of the game plans. Yeah, I mean, technology. We want the technology too. We want
and
the
they're doing that for.
technology. The technology is thousands and thousands of years ahead of our time. 2024 is when it's actually going to start.
Hey everybody, it's Matt Cox, and I am going to be interviewing Chris Marrero, and we are going to be talking aliens. Now, this should be pretty interesting since I was locked up with Chris, and Chris was constantly talking about aliens, and I was constantly making fun of him. And now, apparently, the U.S. government has said, yeah, okay, UFOs exist. Like, so I remember when I saw that, I thought, damn, I fucked up. Like Chris was right. So, but Chris is going to explain everything to me when the aliens got here, how they're running the show, the whole thing. They're in cahoots with the governments of the world. It's insanity. First, I want to mention that YouTube has a new feature on the like, when you get where you can hit a like video at the bottom on the like on that band that where the like video, all those different symbols. If you slide that sideways, my videos have a thank you feature. And if you like the video, you can actually hit the thank you video or the thank you feature, that little symbol, and it will allow you to donate $1.99, $2.99, $4.99, $49.99. I don't know anybody that likes me that much. But if you're interested in donating, by all means, please do me a favor, hit the thank you button, and you can donate. And yeah, am I begging for donations? Yeah, I'm begging. I'm not above that. So, all right, check this out. My question to you is, when did aliens first get here, and what's going on? Because obviously we talked about this a lot. And Boziak and I used to joke with you and mess with you all the time. And I remember it was like, Chris, like, why would they be here? What? And you had, you would get excited and irritated, and we would mess with you. And then one day, a couple of years ago, they came out with that, the Navy came out with showing all those things going whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And I know you're saying, yeah, the Tic Tacs. And then the government comes out and they're like, yeah, okay, we don't know what these are. And so, yes, there are UFOs and we don't really know what they are. And then more pilots are coming out all the time saying, oh, man, we've been seeing them forever. We've been seeing all kinds of stuff. We've seen this. We were told not to say anything. We've been told that if you start reporting these types of things, that they'll ruin your career. Like, there's all kinds of stuff coming out by pilots saying, yeah, well, typically you don't report it. Why? Well, because then you're a crazy person that believes in UFOs. You don't want to be that guy. And of course, the government's saying, look, we just don't know. We don't know what these things are, but obviously they're not. They're saying they're not man-made. We don't know what they are. We don't know if they're man-made. We don't know.
They know.
Right. Okay.
They're just saying they don't know.
Either way, when they said that, I thought, I don't want to believe in aliens. Like, I don't want to be that guy, but there's more and more questions. And so it concerns me because I don't want to sound crazy, but it's like, if you eliminate all other explanations, then, you kind of have to believe the unexplainable, so anyway, all right, so talk to me. Tell me. I know you've got some theories. I know you've read extensively, insane amount of stuff on this.
Well, before I start, there are a couple of documentaries you should see, which are really good. One is called Unacknowledged.
Unacknowledged. Colby will put it in the description.
Dr. Stephen Greer. He also does Above Top Secret. The Cosmic Hoax, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. There's also The Phenomenon and the Bob Lazar story, which is Area 51 and flying saucers.
Right. I love Bob Lazar.
Yeah. Do you know him?
No, but I mean, I've seen a bunch of documentaries on him, and he was on like Rogan and a
Yeah,
bunch of
Joe Rogan did an interview
yeah.
with him. Really good. So let me start from, I first really came to the conclusion that UFOs were real when I saw a documentary called UFOs, The Greatest Story Ever Denied. And in there, Dr. Stephen Greer is doing the Disclosure Project, where he has gotten together people from the government, from military, from CIA, whatever, and brought them all together. And they have said, look, we will testify before Congress for what we have seen and what we have to say, you know, like you said, be that guy that we can't say anything. So when I saw that first, I said, wow, there really is something to this then. This is not, you know, just a cool Hollywood movie anymore. This is pretty freaking cool if it's real. So that's what really kind of convinced me. And he went story after story, these people did of everything that they encountered. And I said, yeah, this is it. I'll give you one. There was a it was a colonel, I think, Robert Salas. And he was controlling Minuteman missiles. He had 10 of them, and he was in charge of these things. And one day, a couple of UFOs come down, and the guys who were outside, he was inside, and the guys are outside, they're frantic. They're saying, we got UFOs out here. What do we, you know, what do you want us to do? We shoot at him or what? He says, no, just hold off. And little by little, and not, you got to understand, each missile silo is its own system. It's its own electrical system, its own whatever system. They're not connected in any way. And one by one, the UFOs shut down each missile silo. Boom, 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 one after another. And man, you can't, you know, that's pretty freaking incredible, because they went from there to another place where they had missile silos, and they shut those down too. It's kind of like they were saying to us, you know, stop this insanity with the missile silos, because you know, with the missiles and the ICBMs and everything, because you're going to kill you know, you're going to destroy the planet and everything on it. It's a beautiful place. So the reason I think the military, and what Mr. Greer says also, is that the military now is coming out with, yes, there are UFOs, because they have enough, they have reverse engineered enough that they can now bring them as the enemy, right? They can bring them forward as the enemy and say, well, we need more funding, Congress. We got another enemy to fight. And that's what's going to happen next. There was a Men in Black that was on his deathbed, and he said that in 2024 is when it's actually going to start. And the way it's going to start is with the holograms, because they got holograms now that are incredible. And you can't tell the difference between the real thing and the fake thing. They got from chemtrails enough barium in the sky that they'll be able to project holograms that are, you know, and they're going to have, you know, actual pilots fighting these things. And it's going to look real as shit. People are going to get scared. And that's what they want. They want to continue with the fear. And because it's basically the reptilians that feed off this fear. It's crazy, but they actually control a lot, and they've been here for longer than all of us have been here.
Okay, wait a second. One, a Man in Black.
Yeah, they have Men in Black are both like CIA guys and alien hybrids. They're both alien hybrids and regular guys.
Like the movie Men in Black?
Yeah, but that's, you know,
It's a movie. That's a movie. Okay.
Hollywood bullshit, you know. But
is the movie made to discredit people believing in Men in Black?
No, not to discredit it, just to make it silly. You know, it's like Gomer Pyle. You know what I mean? It's like, but anyway, on his deathbed, he said that shit is going to start in 2024. So we got 2 years to find out if he's correct on that.
And here you're saying that they're going to project
holograms.
Hologram. Who's going to project holograms?
Matter of fact, you've heard of the Phoenix Lights?
Yeah, that were over Phoenix. All the little they were they thought they were like UFOs, right?
No, they were, but he says according to him, it was a psyops. It was actual holographic projection.
Who's doing the projecting?
The government.
For what reason?
To instill fear, because if you instill fear, then you get more funding. And if you remember, Rumsfeld before the war said we got $2.3 trillion that's unaccountable. These are black ops. These are black operations that just they don't want to give up power. They need constantly to be fed money. And yes, I know there is no money. It's ironically, but they want that cash. The Federal Reserve note.
There's some conflicting theories here, but
no, there is no money. It's not back. We went through that. It's not backed by anything. So anyway.
So these speculative notes, they want more of those speculative notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
reptilians,
yeah. You should also look up David Icke. David Icke does some cool stuff with books that he's written and documentaries. But the reptilians have been here forever, and there are Dracos. There are all kinds of different types of reptilians, and they're actually the ones who are above controlling the Vatican. They're above the Vatican.
All right. So the aliens.
I know it sounds crazy, Matt.
So the aliens are here.
Oh, they've been here for centuries. Yeah, they've been here for.
Why aren't they out here? Come on, I've never seen any aliens. I mean, any reptilians. Like, what are they doing? Why are they not? Like, why are they not just like another species?
Oh, they don't want to be known. They don't want to, they don't want to do interviews. They don't want to do podcasts. They don't want to be very underground, so to speak. They don't want to.
But for what reason? What is the benefit to stay hidden? And why are we here? Or do they just not care about us? Like, are they running something? Are they mining gold? Are they?
They're also they can also duplicate themselves as humans. That you can actually be talking to somebody and not know that they're a reptilian.
Like they live, or they.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
With Rodney Piper, right? Rodney Piper.
I don't know. I don't remember, but they
You don't remember the movie They?
No, I don't remember. So long ago.
That's great. It's a great movie. It's a great movie. I can't believe. Listen, you have to watch They. That's where basically every 20% of society is actually aliens that look like humans. But if you put on these special glasses,
they live.
They live.
Yeah, not they. They live.
Right. And you know what's funny? This was back in the 80s. And you know what was funny about that? Was that, do you remember they had drones that were following people and were kind of up in the air and you couldn't see them? And I just, it was it's like they're just hanging, they're just sitting there. Now we have drones.
What they're doing is telling you what they're going to do through motion pictures.
Right. They're letting you, they use motion pictures to kind of let you know.
And
so
TV.
That you don't become to that. Like when the government comes out and says, hey, by the way, there's UFOs, there's not mass panic. Like everybody basically was like, really? That's crazy. And they just went about their day.
Yeah, there are a lot of UFOs off Florida. It's just you got to Gulf. There's a place called Gulf Port or Gulf something. I forget. Gulf Breeze or something like that. There are a lot of UFOs around there. But, I mean, you have to really kind of search them. But since you're asking me about that, Dr. Stephen Greer does have an app that you can download, CE5. Look it up on your thing now. And
okay, Colby, put CE5 in the description. Put the app in the description.
And they will actually show you and teach you how to actually call down aliens. He has meetings, and he's having one up this September. I'd love to go to it out west. That they actually go out in the desert and they will actually call. They do make contact and.
He's probably got a drone. He's got somebody down the street, 2 miles down the street with a drone, flies way up. And as it comes down, it turns a light on. So people are like, oh my God, it's right. He's amazing. Yeah. Donate. And he's probably sitting there saying, hey, join my Patreon.
No, it's actually, they meditate. They do a whole big meditation thing.
He does. Well, how does he get paid?
The app is like $10.
And he's probably got a Patreon. He may have a Patreon. You don't know.
Maybe. I don't
Maybe
know.
he says, hey, support the cause. Look what I just did.
Yeah.
I just called down an alien. And then, of course, then the drone like goes back up and it shuts the light off and the guy flies it back over to where he is and it lands. The guy jumps in his car and he leaves. That would be a great scam. Like, I want to run that scam. Like, I'd have fucking 10 drones. Listen, I'd get it going good.
Oh, Matt. Man, there's so much to tell you. There's another lady named Gosha. You gotta listen to this. She has a YouTube channel called Cosmic Agency. And Gosha has been interviewing the Palladians for the last 5 years.
Who are the Palladians?
They come from the constellation, the Palladian constellation. And this girl, Swaru, is the girl she's been interviewing. And they come from the planet Taygeta in the Palladian constellation, and they've been circling the Earth for quite a while. And there are 18,000 of them on this ship. The ship is huge.
Why?
They need to protect. Actually, they go into detail, but they're telling you that they need to protect this planet. They love this planet, and there are certain times that they have protected it from a nuclear situation. And also, they protect it from other reptiles not coming here and others not taking human bodies as slaves or to be eaten. Believe it or not, I'm telling you what she said. Don't. I
mean, they need food. Like, they haven't solved it. Like, to me, this is the way I look at it. Like,
they enjoy eating us, I guess. I don't know. We're a delicacy.
If you're an alien and you can travel, if you can travel hundreds or thousands or millions of light years,
right,
pretty fast, to get here without having to go through generations of your people to even make it here. So if you can get here that fairly quickly, you've obviously already solved the problem of energy. You've most likely solved the problem of food, water, and resources. So the only reason to come here would be tourism. Like, that's really, there's nothing here. It's not like people are like, oh, they came here for the water. Why? Water is abundant.
So it's like Las Vegas. What happens on Earth stays on Earth.
Like, what are you guys doing? So I mean, what I'm saying, like, it's like, oh, they're here for the energy. What energy? Like, if they can travel all this way, then they don't need energy. They figured that out. Like, and then it's like, okay, well, what about this? Well, then what are they here for? They're here for what? Like, they want the planet, or they're gonna come down and fight us. The idea that we could fight off aliens is so hilarious. Like, aliens would just come and they'd sprinkle some dust and all the humans would just be gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they'd put a virus, like, hey, we're going to engineer a virus. Like, they're so far advanced. They would be able to come down and just sprinkle some dust and we're gone.
Our Palladian contact, who we are and why are we here?
But I have a YouTube channel. I mean,
it's the first one.
What's the first one?
Who we are. Why are we here?
Okay. When you do it, when you show me that, I hear the music to the X-Files. I can hear it in my head. I can hear the X-Files music when you're talking. When you especially you held it up like this. By the way, you held it up and you kind of like, you didn't hold it still. You kind of did and I can hear the music. So, all right. So you have a whole theory that you've studied, which is about the aliens are working with the governments of the world for some reason, right?
Yeah, actually, there was a guy who came down who was an alien named Valiant 4, and he worked in the Pentagon for years. There's a book on it called Stranger in the Pentagon by I forget the guy's name, but you can look it up on Amazon. It's called Stranger in the Pentagon.
Stranger in the Pentagon. And what was the deal?
Well, he was trying to get them to stop using nuclear, bombs and stuff, and they would, our government, our people wouldn't have it. Eisenhower did sign a treaty with the gray aliens that
I've heard this. I've heard this one. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I remember you talking about this.
It's called the Treaty of Grayada, spelled Greada. You could look that up if you want. But
Grenada, like the island Grenada?
No, not Grenada. Grayada.
Okay.
Greada. And
like
basically, you give us technology, and they wanted to be able to abduct, as many people as they wanted. So that was
reasonable.
In the 50s.
That's reasonable.
Apparently, the first persons that they actually abducted were Betty and Barney Hill. So that was back in
who?
Betty and Barney Hill, back in the 50s.
Who's that?
The first people they abducted.
Are they famous?
Yeah, huge famous. They have even a plaque about the whole UFO situation that they went through. I think it's in Maine. Yeah.
So they abducted them. What'd they do with them? They brought them back?
All kinds of like weird experiments and stuff. And I mean, they had to go through therapy and all kinds of stuff. It was
sex
wacko.
stuff.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
They were doing the probing. A lot of probing.
A lot of probing. I was going to get you a t-shirt that says, I'll believe in aliens when I'm anally probed.
Listen, there must be some aliens in prison because there were some guys trying, but I got lucky. It wasn't for lack of trying.
So let me ask you, do you believe in aliens now or no?
I believe, I want to say something's going on.
You got to study the matter, because I didn't believe it either at first. You got to study it and say, is there something to this? And when you study it and you learn it, it's like, wow, a whole freaking thing opens up that you never knew existed. I mean, I didn't ever always believe in it. I came to a conclusion that enough has happened, and there are enough people that say, this happened to me and that happened to me. And
what's the game plan? What is the ultimate game plan? Like, why are they here?
Like, why are we here? They live here. There are a lot of them that are just living here. They've been here before we were here.
But do they want to get rid of us? You're saying they're abducting us.
They want to do a hybrid program where they're half, alien and half human, because they can't seem to reproduce the same way we can. They don't have the ability to do that anymore. So they need an ability to reproduce. It's all about sex, Matt.
It always is. Do you remember the guy they called the porpoise, the sex offender that had the big head? He had the big forehead, and he was like a sex offender.
Did I see him?
I think he was there. I think he was there when you were there. He was there when JJ was there. He looked like he was part alien. He had a shaved head and he had a huge forehead, and he was all bald. Remember the guy they called Forehead?
God, I don't remember, dude.
Another guy they called Forehead. They called one guy, they called him the porpoise, and that was the sex offender guy. And then they had another guy they called Forehead. Forehead very well may have had some alien in him. You would have to do like a genealogy thing, but
maybe
I've seen some people that I thought something's not right with that guy. Like, that may be a crossbreed. Might be some splicing. There's some genetic alien splicing in there. So what's the plan? They want to try and blend the two species together so they can breed.
Yeah, right now. And they want to control the population. That's why most of all this is anti-human that they're doing. The population control, get the population down to 500 million, which was on the Georgia Guidestones, which just got recently blown up. Remember that?
Got blown up.
Right. But it was on there, and they just want more control. The population here has gotten out of control, according to them. They're like, 9 billion people on the planet now? They want to get it down. And
it's coming down. It's coming down naturally.
Not fast enough.
Well, then let us drop some of those nukes.
I mean, I don't agree with it. I think you got plenty of room for everybody, but you know, they're trying to star us. They started the AIDS virus. You know, Robert Gallo started the AIDS virus. He was funded by the Rockefeller Foundation, and they put it in Africa and New York back in the 80s.
So if they're actively so the aliens are actively trying to get our population growth under control, but then why are we working with them? Or do we not even, does our government even know they exist?
Oh yeah. They're working with them. They've been working with them for years.
And why is our government fighting AIDS and fighting Corona and fighing these things?
Oh, because they still have to look in the public, you know, that they're doing this, you know, when they're in actuality doing this other thing.
Okay.
So it's all, they have to have that altruistic face to the public.
Right. No, I get it. So the game plan is to breed with humans.
That's one of the game plans. Yeah. I mean, technology, we want the technology too.
And they're doing that for
the technology is thousands and thousands of years ahead of our time, if not millions.
Okay. What? You would think they just come down and say, look, we need this, you know, and do a negotiation. Like, is that why the government's come out and said, look, well, they've said there's UFOs. They haven't said there's aliens, but they said there's UFOs. There's some stuff going on. Oh, here's the question. What are the TikToks? What were those? Because I said they're like UFOs and you said they're man-made.
Yeah, that's what Stephen Greer is saying, that they're possibly man-made because they're allowing this information out now. And the reason they're wanting it to come out now is because they're going to, you know, do that planned alien invasion that I was telling you about.
But it's all bullshit. It's not even really happening. They're going to make it look like there's an alien invasion.
Yep.
But there really isn't.
No. They've been very peaceful. If they wanted to wipe us out, they could have done it a long time ago.
Yeah. What was that movie? The one about the kids are fighting the aliens. Is an alien species that comes to Earth and we fight them.
The day the Earth stood still, or what?
No. Keanu Reeves made a remake of that, didn't they? Keanu Reeves.
Are you talking about the remake with Tom Cruise?
No, that's War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds, all right.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about
who's in it. Who's in it?
It wasn't Divergence. It was that was the other one. That was I can't believe that I can't remember the name of this movie. Harrison Ford was in it. Harrison Ford alien movies. That's what I need to find out. Harrison Ford alien movies. Look that up real quick. Harrison Ford alien movies.
While you're looking that up.
Hey, it's called Ender's Game. You never saw it, Ender's Game?
Oh yeah, I saw it in prison.
And they have a ton. They end up getting a ton.
He trains all these kids, right, or something?
Yes. He ends up getting. They've got tons of like the whole planet is donating, or paying in taxes, and they're being like in the book. It's like everybody on the planet is working to come up with like the funding to fund our defense against aliens. So people are just working their asses off to produce money to give them to fight off the next alien invasion, because they're like, look, they come back and we won't survive.
See, they're telling you what they're trying to do, and I don't even remember the movie, but yeah, that's what they're trying to do. And like you just said, the money is represented by your energy.
Yeah, labor. Yeah, well, I mean, that's really in the end. I was saying, money is. I mean, technically, money is labor. Well, it used to be labor, and now it can also be an intellectual property. But yeah, it's representative of. Well, anyway, you have a different take. So, which is in another video if anybody wants to watch Chris talk about the other video. So, Chris is a guy, by those who are tuning in, Chris is a guy that Boziak and I, and another guy named Paul and a bunch of other guys, we would go and we would talk to Chris, and Chris was just a wealth of information and entertainment, you know. So I have another question. What are the chemtrails again?
Well, they're exactly that. They're chemtrails. They're putting barium in the sky to be able to. It's kind of like having a background so they can do the actual hologram. But barium and I forget all the other side products are in it, but they're not good for you. And you inhale them, and that's not good for you. It's got a lot of nanotechnologies in it. It's got a lot of crap that is destroying our being able to breathe and eat properly and everything.
Okay. What? I mean, what am I supposed to say? So
it's garbage.
Who is working? So you're saying that the aliens are here. The government knows that the government's working in conjunction with them.
Yeah.
Who is in charge of this whole operation? Is this a consensus of governments, or is this one person's running the whole thing, working with the aliens, or is there a meeting once a month?
Well, that's the thing. It's above top secret, and the president doesn't have access. Stephen Greer has tried to brief presidents and head of the CIA and all that, and he realizes that they don't know anything of what's going on. They're not in control. There are others that are in control that control the black ops and control the money that's going into these programs. The president is just really a temporary employee. If you know anything about security, top secret security clearances, there are 14 levels above the president that he doesn't have the permission to go up and see. The first one is cosmic, and then there's majestic, but he's not privy to the information up there. So there are people that are private. These are private entities. And that's why if you do a Freedom of Information Act, they don't give a shit. They don't have to tell you anything because they're private entities.
Okay. Well, the president,
like Skunkworks and Rayathon and all those.
So does each president that comes in know that there are aliens? That's something when they give them the briefing on here's what's going on in the world.
Well, Carter knew because he saw one. Reagan knew because he saw one. He saw them in the sky.
That's like Trump would have tweeted. They told Trump, he'd have been like, oh, hell no. I got to tweet about that. You guys, this is what they just told me. Like, you would think Trump, he was unhinged. Like, he's not, you can't put a cap on that. He's going to talk about some shit.
Well, yeah, but see, the thing is that even with
maybe that's what the raid on Mar-a-Lago, whatever it's called, Mar-a-Lago was about. They were like, he still got them documents.
Well, see, Clinton wanted to go ahead and go forward with it, and he really wanted to find out what the hell's going on. And they had to tell Stephen Greer that although he wants to do this, he's afraid he's going to end up like Kennedy. Because Kennedy wanted to bring some stuff forward, and 10 days later, they got rid of him.
Marilyn Monroe. Tell me the Marilyn Monroe thing. I'm glad I remember the Marilyn Monroe thing. Tell me about Marilyn Monroe.
Everybody should go to YouTube and put in Marilyn Monroe Declassified. And it's the last 15 minutes of that story that blew me away. I had never heard of this before. And that's basically...
Wait, Colby, put it in the links. What is it?
It's called Marilyn Monroe Declassified.
Marilyn Monroe Declassified. So can I give everybody the background real quick if they don't know? Everybody probably knows who Marilyn Monroe was. But Marilyn Monroe supposedly was sleeping with Kennedy. And
it's not supposedly, it was.
Okay. And his brother, right?
Uh-huh.
Which was Attorney General at the time, Robert Kennedy and Bobby Kennedy, and that Marilyn Monroe was supposed to talk to a reporter. She was upset because they were basically blowing her off, like they were just done with her. She's a drug addict. We're done with her. She's causing problems. It's going to end up in the newspapers. So she was about to go and talk with
She was going to do a press conference.
She's going to do a press conference, and the day
Jack
before,
Kennedy told her that Roswell was for real. And
okay, so wait a minute. This is your version. I'm saying the official version is that she was going to meet with a reporter, and she was going to. They were afraid she was going to spill the beans about having an affair with them. So she ends up overdosing on, what was it, heroin?
No, some pills.
Yeah, okay. So she takes some pills or something, and her maid or somebody finds her, and they try and revive her, but they can't. And she ends up, and she dies. That's the official thing. And, but
that's not what happened.
Chris, roll with it.
All right, this is what happened. She was going to do a press conference about that fact that Jack Kennedy told her that Roswell was real and that he had seen alien bodies in the craft and all that. And I guess his name was Angler, who was head of the CIA at the time or something like that. It starts with an A, I forget. He hired Sam Giancana to actually to assassinate her. And they did it through some sort of depository or something. You put it through your ass, and it just gives off, whatever poison, whatever it is. And that's who actually killed her. And the thing they did, they timed it when Robert Kennedy was in town, so they could kind of blame it on him. The thing is, from what I understand, Peter Lawford heard about it, and he contacted Bobby Kennedy to tell him what was going on. She was, deceased, and they found all kinds of incriminating evidence against Bobby Kennedy in the bedroom that the Secret Service got out of there. So he didn't have anything to do with it, according to this particular the end of this particular documentary, which was fascinating. I couldn't believe what I was hearing and seeing when I was seeing this. You got to see it, Matt. You got to see it. It's called. There's a guy who wrote a book called Flying Saucers and Marilyn Monroe. And everything kind of started with the death of Marilyn Monroe. It was in 1962. Then Kennedy got shot in 63. Bobby got shot in 68. And Martin Luther King got shot. So it was like boom, 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 right after another.
Okay, so Robert Kennedy got shot, but why was he shot?
He got murdered in 68 because
I'm sorry, John F. Kennedy was shot because why?
Well, there were a lot of. He had like a perfect storm of reasons why he got killed. There's the fact that 10 days earlier he was going to bring a lot of evidence forward regarding UFOs. Number two, he had created United States notes, which the Congress is allowed to create its own monetary system according to the Constitution. But Fed didn't like that, so that was one of the other reasons he was shot. God, there were so many reasons. He was actually put in by the mob, backed him up, and then his brother and him went against the mob.
Yeah, but it had nothing to do with aliens?
No, not that part. But,
okay.
But one of the parts was that he had signed a letter that he was going to bring information forward to tell the American people about aliens and stuff. And they said, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
You got to go.
Got to go. Yeah, but there were other reasons why he was murdered. But that was just one of them.
So
do you know
what's the next step in the alien saga?
Well, do you know that you're aware that at Roswell that we were able to get fiber optic cable, computer chips, lasers, night vision scope, and Kevlar from that one crash?
I mean, that seems like that's great, but that seems like we could get some more stuff than that.
Yeah, but 1947, dude. And are you aware that 2 weeks later, the NSA was created? Because the Roswell crash happened July 7th, 1947. 2 weeks later, they initiated the NSA.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, because they wanted to say, well, there's it's top security. We can't let the people know about it. It's national security issue. So they kept it a secret. But out of that crash, we got all those things that I just mentioned.
Okay, so what are the TikToks?
Well, nobody knows, but some people are thinking because the government let it out that yes, there are aliens, that they're setting people up for this make-believe alien invasion, which Werner von Braun is actually the one that stated to I forget the girl's name, but he was head of NASA, and on his deathbed he was saying this is all bullshit. It's all going to happen this way, and it's all a lie. And just know it, that when it happens, you know that I told you ahead of time that this alien invasion that they're planning is all bullshit, because they need another enemy. The enemy first was during the Cold War was Russia. Then it was going to be terrorism, right? And they could only squeeze so much out of that, and then it's going to be the next big frightening thing is going to be the aliens, because they constantly need money out of Congress to be able to fight, the boogeyman. So that's how it's going to be. Just I know you think it's crazy, but I told you before in prison about UFOs and aliens. You made fun, and then so
you're saying the next 2 years, alien invasion.
That's what they say.
They're at least going to make it look like. The truth is they've already been here, but they're going to try and. So the next 2 years, they're going to. The government, is this a world government or just the U.S. government? Is there some kind of world government that's really happening, or?
Yeah, they got pretty much control over pretty much all other governments. I mean, and plus the UN and all that stuff. So
they're going to make it look like we're being invaded by aliens using holograms. In order to scare money out of the American people.
Yeah. And they got to make it look real as shit, dude.
I wouldn't put anything past them at this point. I mean, I want to be there. I want to see the footage. I want to, I want to be there.
You want to hear something interesting? You know who Edgar Casey was?
Sounds familiar.
Okay, he was a seer. He was a clairvoyant. He lived back he died 1940 something. Anyway, and he was able to remote view. You know what remote viewing is?
Yes, remote viewing is when you can kind of like get into a trance-like state, and you can bring your consciousness somewhere else on the planet or someplace and view things in rooms and buildings and just in other places on the planet remotely.
Right. So the Russians developed it, and then because the Russians were developing, the United States government started developing, and they got great success out of it. And this particular guy has been studying it for about 50 years now. And what he did was he went to all the remote viewers that he could find around the world, and they don't know each other. They all told him the same thing, because he wanted to find out what's going to happen in the future up to 2050, which isn't that far away.
Right.
And they all said that LA's underwater.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I've been praying, and I've told Jess 2 days ago, I said, I hope that whole place just sinks. I mean, honestly, it's time to go. It's time to start. We need to start over from Arizona on in. I mean, it's chaos over there.
Yeah. Basically, Nevada's gone. Wyoming becomes waterfront property, and all of the eastern coast is basically gone. Partial Florida is gone. I'm gone because, I'm down here in Fort Lauderdale, but also the tectonic plates in Europe collapse, which means all of Europe is underwater. Most of Britain's underwater. There's a little bit left of Britain. There's all of France is gone. Spain, Romania, all of that is gone. It's all underwater. Look up, if you don't believe me, look up what's called the Doomsday Map. And the Doomsday Map will show you what they think will look like when all of this occurs.
Wait, what's that? What's the strait, that area, the two plates that are in California, those two plates? What's the name of that?
Well, there's one in the Pacific Ocean that's bigger than the San Andreas Fault.
San Andreas. That's it. San Andreas Fault.
Yep. But the one in the Pacific Ocean is massive. It is so huge. It's just incredibly scary to look at.
In Superman, the first Superman that came out with what's his name? He died. Anyway,
Christopher Reeves.
Yeah, Christopher Reeves. Remember Lex Luthor was going to have a nuclear bomb go off, and California was going to slip into the ocean.
Yeah,
remember that?
They're telling you what's going on. Plus,
so Lex Luthor has nothing to do with this.
No. Not at all. So if you want to see some of these for free, these documentaries that I was telling you about, you can go to you ever go to Tubi, Tubi? That's another like a Netflix kind of thing. You can get it on your computer. Tubi. Okay. And you get all these for free. There's also another one you've got to go to, and that's on YouTube. It's called The Fifth Kind with Paul Wallace. My
kind.
The Fifth Kind with Paul Wallace. And he also has thefifthkind.tv. He talks about the Anunnaki, about the biblical stuff, and how it correlates. The Anunnaki came here like 450,000 years ago, and they're the ones who actually created mankind. They're the ones who created what became the Adapu, or the Adam, or what we call the Adam. Adam was actually, according to Divine Encounters, what they call the black-headed people from Africa. So that was the beginning of mankind that they created. It also talks about in the clay tablets of the Sumerian texts about the flood, the Tower of Babel. All of that is the actual source of what later became the Old Testament. So yeah, I really recommend you listen to The Fifth Kind, and it's fifth like the number 5th. Kind. Paul Wallace. Wallis. Excellent.
Chris.
And Gaia. Gaia.com. Yeah. GAIA.com. There's so much to learn on this stuff, man. I mean, they have a plethora of information that is just overwhelming. There's so much to learn and so much to know about all this stuff. It's crazy.
You remember one time?
What?
You had a book, and I was like, Chris, this is ridiculous. It's true. And you showed me on the back of the book, it said nonfiction. And you were like, it's nonfiction. And I was like, that doesn't mean anything. You said, it says nonfiction. It's true. It's all true. And I was like, that doesn't mean anything. Anyway. All right. I'm gonna wrap this up.
Okay.
Because I need some more coffee.
I wish I could get some.
How come you don't drink coffee? You don't drink coffee?
Yeah, I do. I just can't go anywhere.
Well, can't you get like a little coffee maker or something? Or?
Nah, I don't. I get coffee on the road. I don't make it here. You know, I'm barely ever here.
Listen, I tell you right now, I'm like, I drink coffee all day long.
Oh no, I just have 1 cup in the morning. That's it. That's all I need.
Plus, I only got like 3 hours sleep last night. So
well, that's why.
Well, I mean, I'm exhausted.
You work so hard, Matt. How do you do it? It's hard to be you.
I do work hard. Okay. All right.
It's hard to be Matt Cox.
It is. Do me a favor. If you have any other questions for Chris, leave them in the comments. And Chris typically will sometimes go in the comments and answer questions. So if you have any questions, I'm sure he's willing to answer them, as much as you can answer in the comment section. Let's see. Also, I'm going to have all those links and everything in the description. And do me a favor, join my Patreon if you're interested, or you could also hit the thank you button. I talked about that earlier. And subscribe to the channel, like the channel, hit the bell, share the video, and I appreciate you checking out this video. See ya.